You're probably thinking, what, what is this mess? Well, this was the compilation of all the surface walkers that I wanted to take on this next trip for FlatsClass YouTube. This episode of FlatsClass YouTube is brought to you by Aquatraction, your go-to solution for advanced marine flooring. So yes, now you know what today's FlatsClass YouTube fishing tip is going to be all about. It's going to be about topwater. It's springtime right now, and I brought along one of my friends and a regular client and a regular here on FlatsClass YouTube, Mr. Rick Harnish. I like doing YouTube videos with friends and clients, especially those that can fish very well. So we had a unique opportunity to go out the other day right on the new moon tide, which is a good topwater tide for those of you that want to know. And we were supposed to have some pretty good cloud cover that day. So I thought the skies were going to be dark and the wind was going to be up a little bit. And we'd have to fish some back zones where the water might be just enough riffle, but not too much for topwater. And none of that happened. Not a bit of it. In fact, we did throw topwater from can to cant that day, all day long. But the sun was more bright than it was muted. And we fished a lot of the clear skinny stuff. I thought things would be turned up a little bit more, but it did not matter. It's springtime and the fish like to knock the crap out of topwater. So I'm going to teach you as much as I can about topwaters for spring in these next clips. But while I'm getting set up for tackle talk, why don't you go watch Rick catch a couple of fish, and then we'll be right back. I see it trying to hold us up. You think you can toss it same line, again, try to get him, because I don't think he got hooked. Well, he might have got smart, but he didn't get hooked. That topwater down. Snooker, big red, big red, big red. All right, you stay right there. Let me work my way down to you. That is a red there. Nicely done. Nicely done. Awesome. Yeah, they're a pretty good sized snake. I don't know if it's a banded water snake or what. It's amazing how they... I thought he wanted to hitchhike a ride or something.
Yeah, just next thing you know, they're climbing over the side of the boat.
Oh no, they will climb in the boat. I promise you that. We're gonna get a picture with that one, my friend. Hold on. Oh, I'll let you get down first.
I got it.
I mean a slurp. Big trout. Or is that a snook? Get the. Is it a trout?
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be a Jim Dandy. Look at the size of that trout. Hit that topwater. That's one of your PB trout there, buddy. That's a slab. That's a slab.
That's a slab.
Yeah, that one's going to be. That's probably on that top.
22?
That's probably going to be 22 at least. At least.
All right, bail's open.
All right. A good one. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed some of that early action with Rick catching fish here on the Nature Coast with me throwing topwaters. Now I'm going to talk about just the topwaters, particularly that we used in this episode, but I will kind of give you an overview real quick. And I don't know, I never know what the editors are going to add or take out of these things because I don't edit these videos, folks. If I did, there'd probably be a lot more rum sipping, probably some curse words because, yeah, I'm that guy. But let me show you what I would use in a typical low light situation where we had kind of off-colored water with a little color in it. And these are the type of scenarios that you find yourself in all the time. So in those situations, I would use things like papa mullets, full-size top dogs, even he dogs, you know, bigger, louder dogs. The he and the she dog are fantastic. Even a fast-moving 7M, which is a floater diver, which basically darts around just a few inches under the surface and pops back up. You're making lots of noise, lots of splashy stuff to get strikes. But like I said in the intro, this day did not turn out the way I thought it would. This day kind of turned out to be a nice day, and I didn't, well, not that I didn't intend it to be a nice day, but I just didn't anticipate it. So I had to take a step down. Now, because we started early and there was some wind and we had a good outgoing tide and they were bucking up against each other, there was a little riffle on the water and you saw a little bit of those rough points. We did throw something a little splashier, something with more noise, and that's the sheep pup. Hopefully you can hear that. It sounds like a baby rattle, but it does a real good job in mullet schools and draws some big time attention. Now, it blows a lot of fish out. A lot of fish get spooked from this plug, but the ones that hit it, well, they hit it with some vigor. I mean, they really crush it. One of my favorite plugs. This one and the top pup are really a good starting point on most days in low light. But as that sun came up for Rick and I and got into certain positions, and we had better light penetration, and the water didn't have as much sting because it had rained the day before. It changed the chemistry of the water, the specific gravity, but it really didn't change the color of the water that much. Now, as the wind was picking up out of the west, I was finding myself following the water in. Thankfully, we timed it on a good salooner on the tide change, and that happened late morning, and we started working back inside. Well, that water in there was a little calmer and couldn't throw the splashy, flashy look, had to more or less move to these smaller topwaters, and that's what I want to talk to you about. The Mirror Mullet and the Mirror Mullet XL, which is a little larger. These two lures, honestly, in shallow, clear water with decent light are going to be your go-tos. Doesn't have to be these colors. You notice that the Mirror Mullet that we were using in this particular episode was the Skin series. Literally looks like an actual finger mullet. That's what we were using. But these colors work just as well. Remember, the fish is seeing mostly the bottom of the lure for the most part. But they do get under, so they can see the flanks of the bait, and sometimes the baits go underwater. They get a good look at these. But the XL we used later in the day as things, well, let's be honest. Rick lost a really big snook that we didn't put into this video. I mean, a really big snook, and it pretty much took this little dog away. I mean, it smashed it, crushed it. Then we switched to this. But we were going to switch to this anyway because we knew that there were some big fish in there. A little bit beefier hooks on this one. And it allowed us to work some of the faster points as the sun was getting a little bit lower on the horizon. Great stuff. I mean, just great stuff. We had an epic day, really. It was a really epic day. I think, naturally, I can't put every shot in here. We caught more than 6 or 8 really nice sized trout, anything from 18 inches all the way up to 22. And then we followed that up with some really solid, I think we had 6 or 7 redfish that we got on Topwater of various sizes, big and small. I think we'll probably throw 3 or 4 of them in here. And then, and then Rick whiffed on 2 snook. He whiffed on one. The other one just, well, it just broke his heart. And there were too many F-bombs in that one to really put into YouTube. So we decided to cut that out. Anyhow, you go back to the action and we'll do the outro back at the boat.
Water. Not quite as big as that last one, but still a good fish. You're wrecking them, man. I might just get this one for you.
Okay.
I might just get this one.
What do you little guy? He's only about
He's
17, 18.
Unbelievable. 3 times. That's when you know you're in the major. That's when you know you're in the major, man. He wanted that topwater so bad.
He did not give up on that.
He did not. I mean, he was going to eat a topwater. I'm going to try to get us off to the side here. He's a lot bigger fish than I thought. Go around in there. Don't want him to rub off. How you doing? Okay? All right, I'm going to jump. Put this down. Boy, that was fun to watch. That was fun to watch. Much bigger fish than I thought.
Tail's open.
Much bigger fish than I thought. He wanted that. All right, let's get him off. I mean, he clobbered that thing. This one here didn't even have a spot.
He's got no spot on this side?
No spot. That's exactly where he needed to be. You like these new moon tides, huh?
I do, man. I do.
The new moon tide is a good tide for topwater. It's a good tide for topwater. Oh, man. He is mad. I'll stake us. You just hang in there for a second. Good job. Got his head out of the water. Turn this over here.
Cruising down the shoreline?
Nope. That one cruising down the shoreline, he wouldn't give us the time of day. This guy here, on the other hand, he's all about it. All right.
Tail's open.
Another one on the topwater. All the way back. Come on, you're gonna come over some good holes there. All of that red behind it. He hammered that.
He was hungry, man.
Really hammered it. All right, I'm gonna come down. Just Wait for me.
I got you.
I just gotta get down. Oh,
Be careful, bud.
yeah.
This one's got spots.
Ankle's a little swollen. Let me net him up. Another topwater fish. We've 3 different topwaters today.
Bail's open.
Bail's open. Pretty fish too.
Yeah.
That one's the mirror mullet. Beautiful fish.
You're probably saying, what is CA doing? Well, this is a would-be trap, and you'll see that I captured a would-be in here. Why am I killing bees? Well, I don't believe in killing almost anything that you're not going to use, but these would-bees are super destructive. In fact, they've pigeonholed an awful lot of the wood around here, from back there at the firing range to this set here that we use out here at the fire pit. Enough of me complaining about the would-bees. Let's talk about spring topwater fishing. And that's really the thing that I wanted to teach you about this time of year. You know, you have tons of bait coming into these estuaries, and many of it is that 3, 4, and 5 inch size that swims up on the surface. And because fish are either coming out of spawn or going into spawning mode, they're voraciously hungry, super aggressive, and topwater is the way to go. Now, I wanted to time this particular trip on the new moon because the new moon is generally a good topwater moon. You have dark skies all night long. We actually were expected, like I said in the intro, to have a lot of cloud cover, and that never happened. But we just adjusted with the way we fished the topwaters. And the results, well, they were excellent. They were really excellent. Now, you might say, well, what was the retrieve that you guys were using? Well, Rick is more comfortable with a static, more rhythm-like retrieve, and when I would try to get him to do something else, the plug never really worked the way I wanted it to, so I just adjusted the different lures to make it work for him. For me, there's a few tricks I've learned over time. One of them is to walk the dog, and you're jumping slack. That's how you walk that dog. That's that side-to-side motion. But oftentimes, if I get something to blow up on it, and I can tell from experience that it's a trout, I'll kill the bait for a second and then start it again. And that oftentimes gets an even more aggressive strike. But it works well with trout. With redfish, I do the same thing. What I'll do is I'll walk. They'll come up behind it, blow up on it twice, miss. I'll stop it for a second, and then I'll just reel it straight, just where I'm just reeling it through the top of the surface. They'll come back after it and they'll get it. You don't have to walk it side to side anymore. But with snook, it's always walk. They blow up on it, keep walking it until the rod is being pulled out of your hand. Then you know they got a hold of it. And that's really it. If you guys like these tips that we do here at FlatsClass YouTube and you're learning stuff, give us the thumbs up. We deserve it. And subscribe. Tell your friends. It's my job as a 30-plus year pro to make you a lot better angler. Until next time, Captain CA signing off. And go back here and survey what the wind did to the woods.